For this tutorial, we are going to learn how to make shape tweens. What a shape tween does is it will allow us to change the color and the shape of our animation. So for this one, we are going to have a circle change into a square. So to start, I'm going to name my layer. So for this one, I'm going to call it circle because that's what I'm going to start off with to begin. I'm going to draw my circle into my stage. So this one, and I can change the color. So for this one, I'm going to start off with a red circle. Now typically when we're animating, when we come out to our frame, so my 10th frame, we would right click and insert a keyframe. When you insert a keyframe into Macromedia Flash, the program is automatically going to copy over whatever was in that keyframe that came before it. So in this instance, we have a red circle in the lower left-hand corner. So our 10th frame, we are also going to have a red circle in the lower left-hand corner. For a shape tween, what we are going to do is we are going to right-click on our frame, and we are going to insert a blank keyframe. The reason we want to insert a blank keyframe for this is because we want our final spot to be different than what it was to begin with. So we don't want it to copy over because we're going to be creating something new once it gets to the end of our tween. So I'm going to insert a blank keyframe. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a square in my upper right hand corner. And I'm going to change the color. So this time I want it to be yellow. So if I come back, I've got in my first keyframe a red circle in my lower left hand corner, and then in my 10th frame I've got a yellow square in my upper right corner. So instead of right clicking and creating a motion tween, a shape tween is inserted a little bit differently. We're still going to come and highlight our first frame, but for this one we're going to open up our properties toolbar, and you should see, if you have your frame highlighted, you should see down here where it says tween none. We're going to click on that and we're going to make that a shape tween. So you can see that I now have a tween. However, instead of being a gray background, this time I have a green background. So a shape tween will have a green background instead of a gray one. You're still going to see your solid black line with an arrow, which is exactly what we want to see. It's just going to be green instead of being gray. So now when I take my cursor and move it across, when I go frame by frame, you can see that my circle is very slowly changing color and changing shape. So if I start at the beginning again, I start with my red circle. Frame 2, it's a little less round. Frame 3, we've got a little bit more of an orange color. And then it's going to move throughout that tween and end up completely different at the end. So to show you again, I'm going to come out to my frame here. Because we're doing a shape tween, I'm going to insert a blank keyframe because I want to create something completely new. This time, I'm going to have a polygon. So if you click and hold on the rectangle tool, you get your polygon tool. So my last piece, we ended up in the upper right-hand corner. This one, I wanted to end up in the upper left-hand corner. So I can draw out my star, my polygon, and again, I'm going to have it change color. So this time I'm going to have it change to blue. I'm going to come back to my 10th keyframe. I'm going to open up my properties toolbar, and where it says tween, I'm going to click shape. So now my red or my yellow square, as it moves across, will change into a blue pentagon. I'm going to show you one more time. So right now we are a blue pentagon, and I want to go back and become a red circle, just like we did when we began. Going to come out to my 30th keyframe. I'm going to right click Insert blank keyframe. Remember, if we're doing a shape tween, we want to be inserting a blank keyframe instead of a regular one. So when you insert it, you should have a frame that has a white circle that's not filled in. So this time, I want it to be in the lower right. So I'm going to make my circle and change my color to red. And then I will come back to my 20th keyframe, so where I ended up, back to my Properties toolbar. Under where it says Tween, I want to change that to Shape. So now, my polygon should slowly become a red circle. So to go through what we just did, I started with a red circle that moved to a yellow square, which then changed to a blue polygon, which ended up becoming a red circle at the end. So that is how you create a shape tween that will allow you to change the shape or color of whatever is in your animation.